Welcome to the Same Side Selling Podcast. I'm your host, Ian Altman. On this week's episode, I want to talk about the 3 biggest mistakes when it comes to voicemail messages in sales. And it may sound like an easy topic, but it's something that I see flawed at so many different levels with so many different people, and I wanted to talk about it. Before I get into what those 3 topics are, I'm going to cover the first one. The first one is this: when you call a potential prospect, do you leave a message or don't you leave a message? Meaning, you call, you didn't get them, so do you just hang up or do you leave a voicemail message? If you get their administrative assistant, do you engage them or do you hang up? What do you do? And no matter how many professionals I talk to, I get different answers each time to that question. And oftentimes people will say, well, I don't want to leave a message because I want to catch them. So I'll just keep calling them because if I leave a message, then they know I called. Which would be great were it not for the advent of something about 30 years ago called caller ID. So now they know who's calling. They know you've called 20 times. They know you haven't left a message, which means when you call, you probably don't sound very confident because in their mind, you've called a whole bunch of times and haven't actually left a message. And if you do that with your administrative assistant, they get to know your number as well. So probably not a good strategy. Here's what I want you to think about. Let's say that in your business, you were contemplating running a spot on the radio. And it was going to cost you X dollars per 1,000 members of the audience to put this message out there. And the message would hit so many thousands of random people. You have no idea where they are, what their job is, what they do, whether they're 16, whether they're 60, if they're in a business that you're targeting or not, doesn't matter. All those people, you're going to pay X dollars per 1,000. Now I say to you, okay, so it's X dollars per 1,000. Now we're going to run an ad that only targets people who are in businesses of the size that your company could help. So if I asked you, well, what multiple of X are you going to pay for that? You'd say, well, naturally, you're going to pay more if it's targeted to people who are in business who could be potential clients of yours. Then I could narrow that more and I could say, what if we could target that message to companies in the geography you sell to, in the industries where you can help people the most, and specific job titles within that industry? What multiple of that would you pay? Well, probably even a higher multiple. And then if I said to you, what if you knew that your message could be delivered to a specific individual inside a specific business with a very individual job title? What multiple would you pay for that? And you would pay the highest for that. And that's what you get with a voicemail. So you actually have the ability to leave a voicemail message for a specific individual. And here's the problem, is that the first mistake that people make is they don't leave a voicemail for that person. They reach this person with a specific title in a specific company who, based on your research, should be an ideal candidate for what you do, and you don't leave a message. That's mistake number 1. The second mistake that people make, which could be worse than problem number 1, which is maybe why people don't leave messages, is they don't plan for leaving a message. So there's one of 2 things happens. Either they call and now they get their voicemail, but they haven't planned to leave a message. Their message is, hey, I was trying to reach you to talk about this. I want to introduce myself and my company, which is not what you would do if you were planning a radio advertising campaign, but it is what you do when you're leaving a voicemail because you haven't planned for it. The other trap that people fall into is they call up, they haven't planned a voicemail message, but then the person they call answers the phone, and they're even more shocked at that because now they're like, well, what do? I wasn't expecting them to answer the call. So what do you say to them? Hey, look, I wasn't really expecting you to answer. Would you mind hanging up? When I call back, don't answer. I'll leave you a voicemail that I haven't planned for. The third mistake that people make is if they decide they're going to leave a voicemail message, not only haven't they planned it, but if they come up with any idea, they have one message, and it's the same message they leave every time. So if they know that when they reach somebody and they leave a voicemail message, that typically people don't respond to the first voicemail message, what do? They leave the same message the second time, the third time. Now, let's go back to the radio advertising spot. If you were running an advertising spot on the radio. Would you deliver the exact same message every time? No. In fact, what would you do? You would think, what's going to entice the interest of people who, when they hear this radio spot, are going to contact us? Well, it's probably going to be the kinds of problems that we solve or address. So what if my first voicemail said, hey, it's Ian Altman calling from so-and-so. Sorry I didn't reach you today. You may not be familiar with us. When other people in your job title, your type of organization contact us, there are usually a few trends that they look for us to help them with. Only about half the people we talk to are a good fit. I'm going to leave you what 2 of them are. If one of those strikes a chord, that's great. If you have no interest in talking to me, let me know that too, because not everyone's the right fit for what we do anyhow. And if one of those catches your attention, let me know. I'm happy to see whether or not we might be able to help. Now, let's say you don't get a response. So if you call them back at a different time of day, which I would suggest not using the exact same time of day because you didn't reach them at that time of day the first time, now you might say, hey, I left you a message the other day with a couple trends we're seeing. Here are 2 different ones. I don't know if one of those catches your attention. At this point, you may have a little curiosity, or you may think, man, does this person really have different messages each time? Who knows? But either way, we're just trying to see if you're the kind of people we can help. If not, I don't want to waste either of our time. But if it looks like something we might be able to help with, love to hop on a quick call and see if it's worth a further discussion. And the third one would be, so I left 2 messages for you. Now, you may be overwhelmed with excitement right now, with so much excitement that you can't even manage to dial the phone. And there's 1 or 2 other areas that people come to us with. If none of this is of interest to you, just let me know. I won't be offended because half the people we talk to aren't a fit anyhow. I won't even be surprised. But if it looks like we might be able to help, you can email, you can call, whatever method you want. Let me know. And if it's something you're not interested in, let me know that too, so I know not to bother you. So that's kind of what the sequence might be. Now, for your business, it might be different, but we just have to avoid those traps. So let me just do a quick summary of the key takeaway points for you that I think you're going to get anyhow, but let's just make sure. The first one is the biggest trap that people make is that they don't leave a message at all. The second trap they fall into is they don't plan for leaving a message, or even worse, they didn't plan for the person to answer the call, so now when it happens, they're at a loss. And the third thing is they don't plan on a sequence of messages that might pique someone's interest. And guess what? If you get their gatekeeper, if you get the person who is their administrative assistant, their job is to help make their time efficient. So just simply say to them, look, I don't want to waste their time or my time if this isn't a fit. Can I share with you the top 2 or 3 things that people come to us who are in their position to help address? If one of those sounds like it's worth a discussion, I'm happy to speak with them. If not, let me know that so I don't waste their time. Now you're aligned on the same side with them to help protect that person's time and only focus on a conversation if it could be beneficial. So avoid those 3 traps when it comes to voicemail messages in sales, and you might just see greater success and get on the same side with your clients. If there's a topic you'd like me to address, just drop me a note to ian@ianaltman.com. Please subscribe, share this with your friends. You don't have to share it with your competitors. That's okay too. And I'll see you next week on the Same Side Selling Podcast. So long.